Hello everyone, today I'll be doing a solo Grandmaster Nightfall run with Hunter. For my subclass, I'll be using Night Stalker. Here are the mods and fragments I'll be using in this video. For my kinetic, I'll be using Osteo, submachine gun with under your skin bow. Next I'll be using a arc rocket launcher. For my helmet, I'll be using 5 mobility, rocket launcher ammo finder, dynamo, and reaping wellmaker. For my gauntlets, I'll be using 10 mobility, submachine gun loader, overload submachine gun, anti-barrier bow. And of course, I was using elemental ornaments. Make sure you put well of tenacity. Next, I used 10 mobility, double arc solar resistance with Seeking Wells. For the legs, I'll be using Orpheus Rigs with the rocket launcher scavenger, powerful friends, and the arc mod I am forced to use. Last I'll be using 5 mobility, loosen finisher, bomber, and overload grenade. For this week, it's S.A.B.E.R or S.A.B.E.R. By the way, I like giving nicknames. This week I decided to use the Osteo SMG exotic to deal with the Loadout Champions mainly. Now I was going to use a different exotic, different build for the Hunter, but it wasn't working out. So I had to switch it up and probably will use that Pacific Loadout on my Titan or my Warlock. Which is disappointing. I really wanted to make it work, but it was taking too long. Loadout Champions wasn't cooperating with me and it teleported and one-shot me. So then I decided to go for this loadout and it definitely went on one go, which I was happy. And now I'm going to be doing the Warsat. So for this video I decided to use this emote. I remember you can get this emote from last season. If I'm wrong, then comment below because my memory is a little fuzzy at the moment. So mainly what I'm going to do over here is wait until 100% and then deal with the 2 overload and the S.A.B.E.R champions. And before someone's like, but what, you can't. First of all, I have done the old-fashioned traditional with the percent of the Warsat, etc. on all my master videos. I did it in my Titan, Warlock, Hunter, etc. Stasis, etc. I just want to make for this video just to be, you know, less stressful. Plus the season's almost going to be over. Also Guardian games, by the way. I really do want to farm the exotic. Well, not the exotic, but the Void SMG. So yeah, don't mind me. I'm just waiting. It does look suspicious. But I think I'm going to move over here. So basically we're just gonna stay here for just, I would say, 1 more minute. So what else can I say? Let's see. Oh yeah, Lightblade. Yeah, about that. So I did make it to the boss. My controller, it betrayed me. I was jumping, right? It happened to me 2 times, right? I was jumping, I messed up my jump. My analog stick wasn't cooperating. Poof, 1 shot. Melee, and then again it happened to me again, so then I had to get it fixed. Anyway, let's just see what the champions are doing. We got vandals being suspicious. Oh look, there's a S.A.B.E.R champion. Does look suspicious, but I'm gonna walk all the way from the far side from the right. Then we got the invisible vandal looking at me. By the way, just to let you know, be careful with the overload champions because they can sometimes push you off of your mini spot. Once you do 100%, you can pull back, you can turn invisible. I didn't turn invisible here because I actually forgot I am a hunter, right? So, first things first, you must take down the S.A.B.E.R champion. The S.A.B.E.R champion will tether the 2 overload champions, and it will be a waste of time to try to attack the champions until you take down the baby. I mean, not the baby servitor, but the regular servitor. once you do take down the servitor, then you can just proceed to take down the 2 Loadout Champions. So yeah, isn't this amazing? So for my build, I was trying to do either a high energy fire or well of intensity, where just to get high resistance for just a couple of 6 seconds. I would say 5 seconds when you pick up the elemental wells. So I forgot to put that on. So make sure you have the high energy fire with the elemental charge if you just want to go for high energy fire build, or the well of Tennessee where you can just get high resistance for, I would say, 5 seconds. I mean, it isn't the best. If I remember, it does give you around 35 to 40% resistance. I could be wrong, by the way. I don't have my notes with me, you know, but I mean, it's good for the Pacific area where we're gonna go inside the tunnel and for the boss fight, and that's about it. So you can see here I am just using Osteo and it is melting the Loadout Champion. I wanted to get the finisher so then I can, you know, get my heavy. And then just be on my way. So I kind of spam rockets if I have to be really honest. You know, I sometimes spam it because, you know, since I'm using Lucent Finisher, I might as well take advantage of it. So I did use Guilty. I did spam a little bit of rockets. Because mainly over here can be a little toxic, especially if you don't have high grenade disciplined. This area can be a problem, especially on Hunter. So I decided to go on the left side and then just use my tether. So I'm using 3 tethers, pulling back because there's explosive shank. Thank the traveler didn't attack me, I could have been dead. I was waiting for the 2 explosive shanks to drop by and say hello. Hello, explosive shanks. And then deal with the invisible vandals over there, or Margruders, or etc, etc. And then there's that guy. Yes, so when you're standing there, sometimes if you don't take down all these specific fallen ads, they will go inside the tunnel all tethered by the barrier champion, and they can, well, I would say 2-shot you. And it can be a nightmare, so make sure you take them down with your super because it can be not pleasant when they both attack you at the same time and then you'll be sent back to orbit. So this is probably the best time to throw your nade if you're on Warlock, but since I don't have a nade and I only can use a rocket, I guess Osteo's here and there, I don't really have Devour, so you know, it's a little strict with the Hunter, right? So I decided to just spam rockets. Spam it and then just use as much as I can. And then I got another brick of heavy. Wonderful, right? Another thing about Osteo is it can track enemies when you don't aim. So you can see here I was shooting while not aiming with Osteo and I almost got 1 shot. Well, 2 shot by the Margruder. I can't even pronounce it, but you know what I mean. The one that attacked me 2-shots me, but on Lightblade, a thrall melee 1-shots me. Like, I don't understand the logic with double arc resistance. So here's the problem I don't understand. Why does Lightblade arc burn? It just feels so buggy, but for S.A.B.E.R, it feels like your character is tanky. It just baffles me. It confuses me. Because this is a Q arc, Lightblade is a Q arc, and I'm so confused, right? But anyway, I'll talk more a little bit later about that. But anyway, there's gonna be one barrier champion and one overload. When you do take down the barrier champion, there will be a couple ads that will spawn. So make sure you take down the barrier first since it tethered the overload. And my super pretty much didn't kill the last sniper, which was very annoying. Right now what I'm doing is I'm just trying to take down this barrier champion at the same time looking for the sniper from the right side since I didn't take him down, because the problem is he's going to be shooting arc at you while you're trying to take down DPS with the barrier champion. So this can be a bit annoying to do, but once you take down the barrier champion, then you can just make your way. Now, if you do see the sniper, which I should have done, is just take down the sniper and then deal with the barrier champion. Once you take down the barrier champion, you must go inside the tunnel. And then this is when you're going to deal with one more overload champion, so let's just say 2 overload champions at the moment. And then you could just stagger them with Osteo. Now if I was on a warlock, I pretty much right now would throw a grenade with Cron's reverse hold, or put a bash in a Titan and just keep shooting with Osteo, etc, etc. Be aware of this overload champion because he can sometimes, I would say, 2-shot you critical direct hit with its solar, so you don't want to mess with him too much. You do want to take him down. So next I'll be dealing with the next overload champion, and be very careful with this guy because he is very dangerous. You can see that my health almost was all gone. I almost got sent back to orbit. My mistake on that. So just be very careful when using Osteo. You can see that I'm trying to be very cautious right now. If you do have your grenade, then make sure you keep throwing your grenades over and over. I mean, sadly for my hunter, I was mostly focusing on strength and the mobility and recovery. I didn't really put a lot of discipline, but I somehow made it work in this video. Once you defeat all the champions, then there's going to be this arc charge. The one you have seen from Presage. Presage, you shoot this arc charge, etc, etc. Once you shoot the arc charge, then there'll be the next wave of ads. And we're going to deal with 2 more overload champions. Yeah, you thought that was enough? I wish. Yeah, basically throughout this entire Nightfall, we're going to see a lot of overload champions. I did use my super to spawn kill these vandals because they are extremely annoying to deal with when they're scattering around like little mice, hiding, turning invisible, and then they could just go sneak up and melee you. So it's just best to take them down, to be honest. Now before someone comments, yes, I know you can also spawn kill the overload champions. I decided not to do that. I decided to just take down those gold elite fallen ads, then deal with the 2 overload champions. Well, to spawn kill them. Because when they do spawn in, if they scatter, they're just going to be invisible and then try to melee you and shoot these arc. It just can be very frustrating to deal with, so it's best just take them down, make life easier, and then you can just take your time with the overload champions. Alright, so now this will be the last one. This is the last overload champion for now. I wish it was the last overload champion, but it's not. So I'm just gonna spam Osteo. Osteo away. When there's a way, Osteo is the savior. Or in other words, if you can't beat overload champions, Osteo away. Basically, throughout this season, it's basically Osteo is the meta for Overload Champions. I would say second would be great, if I have to be really honest. If you have the right perks with auto-loading holster and focus fury, and high caliber rounds, etc., then that weapon is really good for Overload Champions for GM. I decided to use a rocket so I could take down these annoying sniper shanks that always shoot arc. So I'm gonna pick up this heavy orb just to get it done. For the easiest, I would say Titan seems the easiest. Well, actually, Titan will probably just be straight one go. Warlock, the same thing if you jump it right. So here I pick up the heavy orb, then I hold circle, I wait for the electric, and then just walk. I don't even jump because honestly, on a hunter with invisibility, it's just very laughable. Extremely laughable, to be honest. You just jump over there, here and there, turn a little invisible, and then just walk your way to the charge. Now this is the part where things can go a little bit your way, or it's just not gonna work out. It's just gonna take some time because there is gonna be infinite of explosive shanks, and depending when you take down the Overload Champion, then you're gonna have another wave of infinite vandals, and it's very, very annoying. I really hate this room because you're trying to take down the Overload Champions and then the explosive shanks are in your way. Or you're once again trying to take down the Overload or Barrier Champion, right? Mainly Overload. And then these three invisible vandals are just pushing, right? They're trying to melee you, and then you have to back away and then take them down and start all over again. So basically I have to be very, very careful in this. Since I don't have, Bastion, since I don't have, well, Healing Rift, I don't have infinite waves of Grenade on Warlock for the Hunter. So I have to rely on Osteo, rely on my rockets, maybe a bow here and there. And then just bait this Overload to move. Please move. So I was just trying to clear down all these elite Fallens so I can just make my way, but this Overload Champion, something was shooting me, right? Was in my way. And I was just scouting since, something was shooting me and I need to take down this Barrier Champion. So over here I decided to just try my best, take down this barrier, and yes, I kind of messed up my tether. I apologize for that. Make sure you take down the Barrier Champion. Once you take down the Barrier Champion, then you're gonna have the next wave of 3 invisible Fallens. These spawn like every, I would say 15 seconds. I don't remember, to be honest. But they do spawn infinitely until you take down the Overload Champion. So here they are. Yep, these wretches. They spawn every 15 seconds or 20 seconds, etc. It can be very annoying, which is why you must take down the Overload Champion as quick as possible, because they're gonna mess up your DPS. And then you have to start all over again, and it's just gonna be a nightmare. Right now, it's just backing away. I was just waiting. Maybe there's gonna be these invisible, annoying vandals, and I was right. By the way, I have to take them down. So yeah, they do spawn every 20 seconds, 30 seconds. It's very, very annoying. So I was just trying to see, like, this Overload Champion. The Overload Champion was just going all over the place. I really wanted the Overload Champion to bait around that area, but it doesn't look like he's going to go there. So I was trying to think of what can I do to deal with this Overload Champion, because there's two, well, not two, but Well, actually, there's two of them. And then there's this elite vandal shooting solar. And then there's an Arc Seeker. So there's two types of Overload champions. There's one with the Arc Seeker and then one that shoots solar. Now the most dangerous Overload champion is the Arc Seeker. I really despise it because it melts you. Even if you have double arc resistance, it still can melt you, and it can be a nightmare, especially if you don't have your Overload grenades. And if you do want to melt them down with the suppressed grenades, it can be a hassle. So I was trying to take down this elite fallen because it kept shooting solar. It was messing up my DPS with the champions. Then of course, you know, take down these three guys. Once I do take them down, now I have to figure out how to deal with this Overload champion. So eventually, by the way, what I did over here is I went behind a box to deal with the Overload champions. I was trying to go near the stairs, but it didn't work out. I tried to back away, it didn't work out. I just went behind the box. It just got super annoying, you know, because it's these moments where I wish I can just throw a grenade at them so they can just be controlled. And then this is probably the best time to spam rockets, because if you're dealing with the Arc Overload champion, you must take him down as much as you can. And of course, I didn't consistently shoot the Overload champion Osteo, and then it regained his health. The reason why it regained his health because I took cover and it was shooting these Arc Seekers. And I was trying to hear the sound of it, but it was really hard to hear it because the other Overload champion is shooting solar, so I couldn't hear of what the Overload champion was doing. So once I had my grenade, I just spam it and then shoot Osteo. Like seriously, you see how easy it is when you have a grenade? This is why Controverse Hold and Warlock is just... it just makes life so less stressful. Less stressful. Grenade, Osteo, rocket, done. You know? So for this one, you can just spam Osteo as much as you can. Like, he isn't a big threat compared to the Arc one. The Arc Overload champion is it has these Arc Seekers, and it's just so, it could be a mess. You know, for me, if I do see the Arc Seeker Overload champions, I just try my best to take them down. Because if I was on a different subclass, I would use Bastion, you know, have the Void Shield Resistance, or the Healing Rift for the Warlock. It would make it a little bit easier dealing with those type of Overload champions. But for the Hunter, whilst doing these Arc Seekers, you must take cover a little bit and then go back doing DPS, hide a little bit, and then go back to DPS. So this is the room where there's going to be 3 Overload champions, yes, 3, and a barrier champion. So for this one, there are snipers. That's why I use my super to take down as much snipers as I can. That way I can have a less stressful time dealing with the barrier champion. When the barrier champion is on his own, then he doesn't really become intelligent. He actually does stand around here and there, so he's not gonna run away and take cover so much compared to when there's snipers that are next to him. He will feel insecure, and then you can take down the barrier champion, which is good. Alright, so once you take down the barrier champion, now you get to deal with a couple of Fallens, and then the 3 Overload champions. Now I am going to do a mini time skip very soon because I actually was having trouble dealing with the Overload champions. What happened was I was trying to shoot them like on a specific spot on top, but it wasn't working out, so the Arc Seeker Overload champion kept shooting me. I was trying to find a good spot. It kept shooting me over and over and over again. Plus, I didn't have any rockets, not so much. So it was a bit of a hassle, but make sure you clear down all the ads first and then deal with the Overload Champion. And plus, my grenade for my hunter is probably tier 2, so my grenade isn't really looking well, and I wish I could put the higher discipline mod. So after spending 5 minutes of my life trying to go to that Pacific direction but it didn't work out, I decided to go over here, and over here seems the safest for the hunter. So what I did over here is I just shoot. I try to focus on one Overload Champion and then just reload once it highlights red. I only have 2 rockets, and then I'm trying my best to just focus on one. And also, at the same time, I'm reloading my weapon, backing away, because there's an Arc Seeker Overload Champion. And that Pacific Champion is the one that's going to melt me and send me back to orbit. So I have to be very careful with that Pacific Arc one. So you can see, you know, there's the Overload Champion is shooting Arc at me. And that's why I can't stand still. You know, I have to keep moving. I have to use Osteo, reload. Because if I just stand and shoot, then, you know, the Arc Overload Champion's gonna melt me. So this seems to be the best way. Everyone's different. Maybe if I had a grenade, etc., would work, but these Overload Champions are just frustrating to deal with, especially on Hunter. So once again, I try again. I just go and use Osteo. I was just reloading every time my highlights red, because I was trying to get consistent overload shots. And I just want to make sure this Overload Champion doesn't teleport on me and then just stand still, you know, behaves. So I can take him down and then just make it to the boss fight. That's basically what I'm doing over here. And then at the same time trying to take cover, because, you know, we're not on Warlock, we don't have Healing Rift, we don't have Barricade Bastion, we don't have a Void resistant over shield. So, you know, you have to be very careful. And I have high recovery, not super high, but good enough. And still these Overload Champions melt you, and it's very annoying. That's why when using Osteo with a Hunter, you have to move around. If you don't, it's gonna melt you. Done. Back to orbit. I mean, for the Warlock and Titan, no, you don't really need to move around, right? You know, you have your Healing Rift, Controverse hold. You just throw your grenade, Healing Rift, done. And then Bastion with the Titan, done. Then for the Hunter, you just gotta move around with Osteo and pray to the Traveler you don't die from the Arc Seekers. So now we're gonna go to the boss fight. For the Hunter, make sure you jump the right way and don't go near the slide wall, because you will die, by the way. There's a bug, and they still haven't fixed it. It's been over a year. It's been years, by the way. I would say a year, and they still haven't fixed it. I mean, I thought they would fix it, but nope, they didn't. So make sure you be careful with the jump or you'll be sent back to orbit. Now I'm going to be dealing with these baby adorable servitors. Aren't they just so adorable? Just like the dungeon of Grasp of Otherwise. You know, we just manipulate them, use them for the fallen shields from the teleporter cannon. It's just so fun, right? You take all your anger on these servitors. Now I'm going to be dealing with the boss fight. So the boss fight is basically going to be 4 bars, well 3 bars, but I'll explain more about that later. So I decided to use my super, and my first super didn't really hit the boss, which I'm kind of disappointed. It's supposed to shoot. I literally shot the boss direct hit. It didn't shoot the boss. That's so weird, but you know, no one's perfect. It's okay. But anyway, so you can shoot the boss, especially on the ones from the far left and right. Those are the critical hits you can do with your weapons. Linear, rocket. So before the boss teleports back, make sure you take down the shanks, especially the ones in the air, because there'll be a barrier champion that will tether all the shanks, especially on top. Make sure you clear them down, because if you don't, he's gonna tether everything, especially the ones that are floating around the air, waving at you. And imagine a sniper. Imagine if the servitor is tethering the shank snipers. I don't know about you, but that's gonna be a nightmare because they can two-shot you. And they definitely can mess up your run, especially when you're trying to deal with the barrier champion. At the same time, I am multitasking because the boss can also shoot while he's on his resting area, which is why I'm using this specific wall to protect myself from the boss. And the boss does shoot arc, void, and solar. So for this phase, he will shoot, if I remember, solar. And then, of course, he will shoot arc later on. I think in this footage, yeah, he did. In this footage, he definitely almost one-shot me, so you have to be very, very careful with the boss. So yeah, just using barrier bow. Don't mind me, guys. Just using a bow. Once we do take down the barrier champion, then the boss will spawn in the middle. I was actually trying to wait for my super, and then for some reason, while trying to wait, I didn't do enough DPS at the boss. I didn't shoot him in time when he popped his shield. Then he regained a little bit of his health. But, you know, no one's perfect, you know. If I was using the sky rifle, you know, with other particular perks to two-shot it, it would have been a better choice. So now I'm going to use my super again, and you can see he did shoot arc. I think it was arc. And you have to be very, very, very careful. So right now I'm just trying to use 3 of my tethers. I'm hiding, and then this is probably the best time to use rocket. So if the boss is not taken down immediately, then just use rocket. Or use your grenade. Just be very careful and manipulate the boss from left and right. At the same time, these shanks are shooting arc at you, and I did turn invisible there because I want to get some heavy so I can deal with the boss and make life easier. And yes, I know, Blitz, you're spamming rockets again. I am. Loosen finisher for this season. You gotta take advantage of it, right? I mean, who knows what's gonna happen next season? They're probably not gonna even have loosen finisher anymore, so might as well enjoy it. Enjoy having it for this season. It just makes life easier. Once I do enough DPS at the boss, then I deal with the shanks. So quickly take down the snipers, because if you don't, then it's going to be a problem for this specific phase. So unfortunately for me, I didn't take down the shanks enough, right? I didn't kill them in time, and then the boss tethered them, and my gosh, I was just having bad luck. Because of this, it wasn't working out, so I had to be very careful, and I need to break the barrier shank. Well, not the barrier shank. What am I talking about? I mean the baby servitor. I gotta take down, well, stagger the barrier servitor. And then once he's staggered, he'll stop tethering. And then that'll be the perfect chance for me to take down the snipers. So now I'm just being very, very careful because this is not looking good for me. So I really need to be careful and take down these shanks. So I use a rocket, might as well. Just use a rocket, to be honest. Because the snipers, if 2 of them shoot you at the same time, it's basically back to orbit. And I didn't want that to happen, to be honest. So I just definitely decided to just make sure I take them down. So now I'm going to be dealing with the barrier champion, and at the same time I'm just watching the boss because I don't want him to shoot me. So I am using the wall as cover, and then at the same time taking down the barrier champion. Now I was debating to use my rockets, you know, honestly I was spamming a lot of rockets, and I was trying to be careful with the rockets. You know, and I didn't really pay attention. I did saw a heavy brick, and what I could have done here is at least shoot 1 or 2 rockets and then pick up the heavy brick. But I didn't see it, by the way. I was just too focused on the barrier champion. I was way too focused, so if you see me doing this, that means I was just focusing. Blitz was focusing, guys. Don't worry. So when you see the room with red, you need to dodge and immediately go to a different route. Because the place where you're standing is when there's going to be electric. So there is electric in this room, and they could one-shot you, by the way. So I highly recommend you stay away from them, which is why I move. Now this is probably the safest area in this entire Nightfall. So basically what you have to do over here is just take down all these explosive shanks. So when you do see a icon, which I will tell you right now once it does show up. And I am waiting, if only, okay, there we go. S.A.B.E.R 2 summons reinforcements. So that means that he is going to call his little baby minions, explosive shanks, the Pika shanks, etc. Well, they're not really Pika shanks because they don't have electric like in X's Crash, but they're very dangerous if they do get close to you. And you could just keep taking them down over and over again. Eventually, around 2 minutes or 1 minute, I would say 2 minutes, he will run out of the reinforcements of the explosive shanks, and this is probably the best time for you to take down the boss. Now for elite veteran players, yes I know, you know this, so I'm gonna do a mini time skip. So I'm basically just gonna take down all these shanks until they're all gone. Then I'm gonna do DPS at the boss. Once you do take down all the reinforcements, now you can actually do DPS at the boss. So this was actually my first time being at the boss. And usually he shoots void. And then for some reason in this footage, he's not shooting void. So I was a bit confused. Usually he does, you know, shoots void, and that's why I was like hiding and then shooting. But for some reason, he didn't do it on my hunter run, which was very odd. When he does turn blue and decides to go mini Stormcaller, it would be the best time to use your super and your rockets. Also, make sure you don't use your dodge or your smoke invisibility, just in case of a scenario if you don't melt him down. So now I'm just being very careful, because once we go to the last bar, the 4th bar, he's gonna go berserk, he's gonna shoot a lot of arc, be basically the Stormcaller, and then follow you. He can also follow you when you turn invisible on Hunter, which is highly recommend to quickly melt down the S.A.B.E.R boss. So make sure you prep all your grenade, your super, heavy. So now he's gonna go berserk, so use your super, and I was trying to use rocket, super, and then super. So now I'm just trying to reload my rocket. And then I'm gonna dodge and then slowly just try my best to shoot him down. He was too close, so I back away. And then, of course, use my smoke. And then I took him down. Thank you so much for watching. And I do apologize that this run was a little slow. So yeah, that's basically how you defeat S.A.B.E.R, which is why I decided to use the Orpheus Rig so I can get the extra tether for the boss. That way I don't have to run around the map like cat and mouse like Lightblade, and we can just deal with the boss and then just get it done. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.